we might as well all of us present so that it's fresh in our minds. So can we have the scientific committee chairperson or rapporteur, whoever you have selected? And again, please, let's take note of what they have chosen.
Thank you. My name is Nyaradzo Mgodi. I'm from the University of Zimbabwe, Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences. I'm here representing Prof. Mike Chirenji, who is the scientific, he's a co-chair. He was online, but he will be here at the next meeting. Thank you. But I'm not the rapporteur. Dr. Nyasha will present on our behalf. Thank you. Are you ready? Thanks.
Thank you. When we were brainstorming under the, I'm Nyasha Madzingira. I'm an independent consultant. As we were brainstorming to identify the themes, we started by looking at what are the current issues that we might want to bring to the fore. Then we talked about reimagining the way we do business to accelerate in the current competing priorities, making money work for HIV and AIDS. Then we said besides HIV and AIDS, we have other pandemics. We talked about COVID. Then we realized that there are many more. Then we said it's really to look at emerging and re-emerging pandemics. Then the other theme that came up was to look at not leaving anyone behind to address inequalities. Then from there, we then identified two themes. Theme one is inclusive and innovative response to HIV and AIDS and current emergencies. It's coming from page 53 in the working document. We picked all the objectives as they are, but reworked some of them, like the first one, to develop inclusive strategy towards responding to HIV and AIDS and contemporary emergencies like COVID. It was ending at COVID-19. So we added monkeypox, Ebola, and any other emergencies. Then to develop tailored programs for the differently able populations to manage emergencies and risks posed by HIV and AIDS. It was just by the disease. So we changed that to HIV and AIDS. The next two did not change, but maybe we can go to further down for the objectives that we added. Yes, those three objectives we discussed and added to this theme to integrate HIV and AIDS and re-emerging and non-communicable diseases into the main health systems, to have sustainable, resilient, revitalized and robust health systems responsive to local and global conflicts. Then lastly, under theme one, to build resilience in health systems to catalyze an equitable and just HIV and AIDS response and pandemic preparedness. So that's theme one and its objectives. Theme two, we also recrafted it a bit. We took out one or two words on this one. It's coming from page 46 of the working document, ending AIDS in Africa by 2030, committed to ending inequalities, coordinate efforts, follow the evidence, invest in what works, decolonize global health. The objectives are a bit long, but we hadn't gotten to streamlining them, but we picked all the 5 objectives that are under this theme. 5 objectives to be reworked and streamlined. Thank you.
Let's have the third presentation so that when we comment, it's all at once. The community?
I'm here.
You're already there?
Yes.
Well done.
Hi. I'm introducing myself again. My name is Brice Bambara. I'm from the Global Fund, and I have the honor of representing the community program. So what we did is that we looked at, the common themes and what has been transpiring over discussion over the past couple of years. And of course, there was the COVID-19 pandemics, and the effect that the COVID-19 pandemics had on health systems in general. and the role that the communities and the civil society groups took in providing a good response to the disease. And of course, when we talk about the pandemics, we talk about the economic impact that this has had. So now we're also looking at the economic environment, landscape, the resources that are volatile. And then another point that we had in mind when we're looking at the themes was young people and the place of young people in the response to HIV. And this was very important for us because, you know, by 2050, the young population in Africa, the number of young people in Africa will double. And we've seen, hearing the presentation from the colleagues from UNAIDS that HIV infection are raising amongst young people in specific region. And let's not forget that adolescent girls and young women are still a priority population when we talk about the HIV pandemics. So what we did is that a lot of the teams were interesting and there were some common thematics among them. So what we did is that we remixed some of them. And the first one that we came up with was refocusing ending AIDS in Africa, invest in what works by committing to ending inequalities, building and sustaining resilient community system and responses. So that would be the first theme that we're suggesting. Gordon, can you go to the second one, please? Or the objective first. So 5 objectives to track and focus Africa's resources towards low cost and efficient models, strategy and activities to attain epidemic control among at-risk men, women, and priority populations to ultimately end HIV by 2030. Advance a rights and gender-based inclusive approach that ensures a people-centered response built on the participation of leaving no one behind, putting young people, very important, health needs at the forefront in planning and implementing risk reduction programs and policies by the policymakers in Africa, create and maintain an enabling regulatory and legal environment responsive to people's needs, removing social, structural, and legislative inequalities, and impeding health service access barriers, which is central to ending AIDS, and coordinate efforts across multiple disease-specific programs, partners, and funding stream to ensure fully funded, sustained, inclusive, integrated, efficient and effective domestic health infrastructure. So these are the objectives. That was the only one, and that's mainly because as in, you know, from the civil society and communities, we tend to speak a lot and make useful noises. So we thought that this was already a solid theme for the conference. Let's keep in mind that when we suggested that theme as well, we were talking about renewing political commitment, share leadership to include, you know, young people more in the response, and also the question of equity. Thank you very much.
Very good. Very, very excellent. Thank you very much. Now, what we'll do now is we've got 5 themes instead of the 6 because, and I want to ask that the team brings the topics and we go through them. Luke, do you want to take us through?
Okay, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. What we did is that we just put all the team together. As you know, we have only one team for the community program. Then it means that we have 5 teams. The 5 are there. And what we have to do now is to read team by team and read all of them, and we select the best. Which team should we choose? Because now 1 and 4 are the same, 2, 3, 5 are the same. Yes.
So thank you very much. I'm all about inclusiveness. Can we not merge theme 1 and 4? Can we not have ending AIDS in Africa by 2030? And then the tagline will include the inclusiveness, the innovation, and then the commitment to ending inequalities. So we are merging the 2 themes into one. So we are ending AIDS by 2030. And we also include inclusive and innovative response. We fight inequalities, we invest in what works. So all that we have, those 5 bullets can come into one theme.
For me, first of all, we've been talking about ending AIDS by 2030. The big thing is that people are going to sleep. What would joke or jot them to sit up? And that's why we are saying, for me, the stem either of AIDS is not over or refocusing ending AIDS in Africa come out clearly, because ending AIDS in Africa by 2030 is a theme that we've been talking about and is not pushing us. The second point is there are things that stick out. For instance, we've been talking of commit. People are not committing. I think this is time for us to give marching orders, which is fight inequalities. Don't commit. Governments can commit, or I'm committing, but they should fight. That's what we want. You should drive innovations. And that's why we're saying theme 2, we can merge the stem, but the commands that are coming from the theme should be very clear. Increase financing, address emergency. Then there are other things. I think there was something that we heard from colleagues, which was part of inequalities and the youth and so on. So we can look at those grand works, but they should be more action-oriented rather than passive words.
Thank you, sir. Based on what Dr. Kasolo has said, can we say that team 1, team 3, team 4 are out, and we maintain the team 2 and team 5 so that we can work on them to have the team of the conference? Am I clear? Let me come back again. I say, based on what we just explained here, and Dr. Kasolo said, it means that team 1, team 3, team 4 are out. We have only team 2 and team 5, 4 and 1. Okay.
So we need somebody who can craft this. Yeah. Do we need to do it now, or we can just select two, 3 people to do it? Dr. Kasolo and Innocent. Innocent and Dr. Kasolo, just to craft those 2, and then we go on with the program, and then we come back to what you'll have. Okay, there is one person online who wants to contribute. Can we hear them? The one person online.
My name is Dr. Mohammed Mfaume Seleman from Tanzania. I'm one of the members of this group, but I was not in the morning because I excused myself. I had something to do. So I'm just in, and then I hear discussion that are going on about the themes. I just wanted to make sure that we also observe the timing, because whenever we say anything, we need time. Because I like the way that you said, but I still need to put time. Like if we said ending AIDS in Africa, but just putting that ending AIDS in Africa without putting timelines will also be like, it's not very smart. So that's what I wanted to be, to take us through and see like we observe that. Over.
Thank you very much. I think the 2 drafters are going to take that into account. If we can all look at your agendas, and the next item on agenda talks about a proposed logo. Yeah, so I'm going to ask Luke Bodia to just give us an outline of what has happened, where we are, and how we want to proceed.
Thank you, sir. You know, as usual, when we want to organize ICASA, we send a call for a proposal across the continent. And this time around, we send a call here in Zimbabwe when we sign the MOU with the government of Zimbabwe. And when we send a call, we receive presentation. We have logo coming from French country and logo coming from English country. You know, we have 82 submissions coming from 17 countries. And last year in 2021, we were having 52 submissions. But just to tell you that people are very interested at the conference. Instead of 50 logo, we received 82. Next, no. We received 82 logo, and out of the 82 logo, what we did, we pre-selected 10 logo for validation. And go to your page, your document. Yes. Go to your document. This is, go to page 79. Please, can you go to page 79? To go to page 79 of this document. Yes, this page 79, you will notice that the first page of 79, you will see the logo that has been pre-selected. The 82 logo, we selected 10. Those are the 10 that we want you to finalize by select one logo for ICASA. But before then, let me talk about the criteria of selection. The criteria of selection was, first of all, the emblem. We should take consideration of Zimbabwe. We should take consideration of the 1995, the end of HIV. We should take consideration also of, we should consider also the color of the country. Those are the criteria that we put there. This is the first logo. The second logo, let's go to the third one. This is the third logo, fourth logo. Next. The last logo. Okay. Yeah, and it should also bear the colors of the country. Basically, this is what will help us, to select the best logo for this conference. Okay, this is the first logo of ICASA. You can see we have ICASA 2022. We have the ribbon inside, right? Next 9 ICASA 2022. We have it too, but this is more than 3 colors. No, I want to review for all of them first. Next, this is another proposal from people. This is 8, another proposal for people. And you can see the ribbon inside, as next, and the last one.
The ribbon need to be red.
Yes. That's important. Then if the ribbon is not red here, it means that this first one is disqualified. Next. This is number 3. This is number 3. How many people think that we can consider this one? Look, I'm not seeing any hand. I'm seeing one.
Look, can I ask one question?
Yes, the question. Okay.
Okay, can we use some logo redesigning? For instance, maybe if there is something very nice, but with no Madagascar, we can ask to add Madagascar, or like the first one could be nice, but adding the color in the red ribbon. So maybe we can select 3 or 4, and then we can ask to the company to arrange something that is according to us, really summarizing the perfect logo for us.
Yes, that's a good approach. But generally what we do for ICASA is that we select one and we can work around it. Because when you select 3, you come back here again, you will fight and say, no, this is not enough. Let us select one more. Okay, we have some people online here. Let me also take the opportunity to really thank the people who are online. Thank you so much for your time and also for your commitment to ICASA. And we are taking care also of your proposition. And I will allow the president later on to take care of that. We consider it. Thank you. Are we considering number 6 or we disqualify? Okay, we put it aside.
Yeah, no.
Okay, number 6, we put it aside. This one is too many colors, too many words. Number 7, too many colors, too many words. Disqualify. Number 8.
Yes, number 8. Yes.
Disqualify. Number 8.
Yes, number 8. Yes. Number 8
okay,
is good.
Then this
Yeah,
one
no
qualify.
Africa,
We
yeah.
put it aside.
Yeah. Number
We have
8 is
2
good.
aside now. Number 9.
Yeah, this is good.
No, I'm not saying yes. Disqualify.
I think this is very good.
No, now we have a lobbyist people who are saying yes. The majority are not talking. Then this is disqualified.
No, I think this is good because it's
okay. We put aside. Number 10, disqualified. Now we have people outside there. They said that the majority of them said that logo number 8. Can you go back to logo number 8? Let us see. Yeah. People outside, online,
yes.
They are saying that number 8 is better.
Number 8. Number 8.
Then, if we follow what the people outside are saying, they choose number 8. No, we have talked about it.
It's a good
they
logo.
choose number 8. And now we have 2 logos that are outside, that we put aside. Then we should do the pre-selection with these 2 logos. Is it 2 or 3? 3.
This is good.
Okay.
This is good.
The first one.
This is good.
Number 8. Number 8 was the one that has been chosen by people online. Do you think that this is the best logo for the continent?
Yeah, it
Do
is.
you think that this is the best logo for the continent?
It's good.
Only few people here are saying no. All the people at the back, they are saying yes. Do you think that this logo is okay? Okay, the next, there is only 2 that remain. This one and the last one. Where is the last one? That is the two that remain. That's the two logo remains. Now, what are we doing? Are you ready to draw your own logo now? No, we cannot do it. Sorry. Okay. Now, what we have to do is to finalize. Can we agree that we go with this logo?
My last word, this logo can be worked on. We may get rid of the colors. We may even reduce the information, but this is the best because it shows our Africa. It shows Madagascar. It shows where Madagascar, where Zimbabwe is with the Jongwe in there. So really, to me, that's it.
Okay. Do we agree on this logo?
Supported.
Do we agree on this logo?
Yes.
It's very simple. We have 1, 2. We say people. We say 1, 2. 1. This is first one. We call it 1, right? And the second one we call it 2, right? Please, okay, you take notes. Just say if we reach you, just say 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we do the total. Raise your hand. Okay. This serious election. Okay, good.
Those of us
Okay.
online.
People who agree for this logo, raise your hand. Okay, we have 17 votes. That's very clear. And see online. How many people voted online for number 1? No, they can't. No. How many people are online? Logo 8, how many? How many people? We need the people. How many people? 10 people. Add it to the 17. Add it to the 17. How many people are there? 27. Put it somewhere there. 27 logo for number 1. Now number 2. How many people want number 2? Count it. $26. Add the one online. 4. That is 30. Pardon? I'm sorry. It passed. I'm sorry. Then logo number 9 is the logo of ICASA. Thank you so much.
Well, let me congratulate you. Thank you very much, Luke. I think this was fair. I think it was fair. It was credible. There was no rigging. So I think that is a good logo. I think you are worried about the colors. Maybe make the colors less. But the issue of can you put back the logo? Logo, please. The logo. Yeah, the beauty about this is there's the HIV sign there on ICASA, beautiful. There's also Africa, I think that is really clear, and Madagascar. We may need to add Comoros on the side, and I don't think that should be a problem. And most importantly, you also identify where it is being held. And anybody in Zimbabwe knows about the Zimbabwe bird. And that Zimbabwe bird is now significantly there. But I know that my Secretary General would have preferred the other one, which was very artistic. But I think we're happy with this. Let's proceed with this, and let's go to the next item on the agenda, which is coming back. Can we come back to the themes? The teams that went to the themes are back. The theme. The themes, can you now give us your feedback so that we finish with the issue of themes? Thank you. Can you identify yourself meanwhile?
Oh. I am Doti Ogutu. I am from Kenya, but I consider myself, no, I don't consider myself. Here in Zimbabwe, I am your Makoti. I'm representing the Africa Key Population Experts Group, which is a regional platform that represents key populations across Africa. Yes. Okay. So I will explain this. Basically, we said we don't want to go soft by keep on saying ending AIDS by 2030. It's the same song all over again. So AIDS is not over. Our number one choice actually is the second bullet point that says AIDS is not over, accelerate inclusive and innovative responses, short and catchy, right? And therefore recommended that within the objectives that we identify, we make sure we are capturing inequalities, innovation, investing on what works, increased financing, resilience and preparedness, which tackles emerging challenges, right? And the other option was the very long theme, which is AIDS is not over, fight inequalities, drive innovation, invest in what works, increase financing, and addressing emerging challenges. That is a bit of a mouthful, right? So the three of us unanimously agreed that the second one would be the best theme while considering the objectives bullet points that we've identified there.
I'd like to thank you very much. I think this is very clear. I can only say by acclamation, looks like the second one has been accepted. Am I agreeing with everybody? Yeah. Are we agreeing? I hear rumbling somewhere. I see a prominent hand or arm up there. Can you just make your comments?
I thank the team for the short time they've spent to get us the work done. One of the issues I have with number 2 is that being an African, a woman, knowing how adolescent girls and young women and young people are one of the key drivers of the epidemic in this country, I mean in this continent, I want to see where it falls. I think I don't see it there, and I would want us to really beat our chests and ask ourselves where that is. Because if we don't bring young people in our theme, they are going to continue being left behind. Nothing is going to remind us in the next years of what it is that we are talking about in this continent.
Thank you very much. What you are saying, in fact, is both topics should add something about women and young women, but neither of them does, as a matter of fact. So we're choosing between these two, right? Can we have your contribution?
Okay. My contribution is that the second one is quite catchy, but it's missing. We have the inequalities part missing. For us to include the young women and girls on their own without other aspects of the inequalities existing in the communities may not be proper. So if we put inequalities somewhere in the second bullet, I think it will address all other issues.
Except that it is in the objectives as number 1. Okay, let me ask Professor before I come to you. Professor Masinongo.
So when you look at the two topics, the word inclusive, it covers whether it's gender, whether it's adolescent young girls and whatever. So if we look at those catchy words and get the meaning behind, it actually now delves to why are we not included as this? It's there, the word accelerate inclusivity. It means talk about anything, it's included there. So I thought it's capturing, and of course, innovative would also bring the issue of emergencies. And of course, up there, it's again good, but the question was the verbose, too much words that we have actually been saying. So I thought the second one, as they have highlighted, is trying to address whether it's gender issues, whether it's adolescent young girls. But if we then want to see the real word itself, to say if it is adolescent or if it is gender or if it is, but I thought the word inclusive is very catchy.
Well, thank you. That's rather professorial, which is good. But here we are. Can you just, yes, very quickly, please?
So I also, to echo what the professor just said, I think the second one is good. And then what we can do in terms of the objective, because I guess we're not going to leave it at just one word, we can then flush out exactly what is meant by inclusive. And, I'm assuming that when we're going to go to innovation, we can, have a sentence that, would speak to the public-private sector partnership and things like this. So I think it's good to just leave it like that.
Thank you. Yes, keep on identifying yourselves.
Yes, my name is Sposisiwe Maronda. I work for REPSI. And thank you to the sub-team that worked on this. I don't think, I'm sorry, Professor Kaniko, I don't think inclusive would cover equality and inequalities. We can be included, but still be unequal. And COVID-19 sharpened inequalities at all levels, family and so on and so on. It even sharpened inequalities between Africa and other places. And when you're coming up with a theme, you're coming up with a statement that someone is going to look at and be captured and be interested. They might not have enough interest to look at the objectives. So for me, it would really be a disservice, particularly to women and children, if our theme does not address inequalities specifically.
Oh, thank you very much. You hear those sentiments. I'm sure that you've got something you've crafted to include that.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Mgodi?
Thank you. So I was thinking that, and I agree with the last speaker here, I was thinking that we should revamp this to read, AIDS is not over. Fight inequalities, accelerate inclusive, innovative responses. So we include the inequalities. We take the inequalities from number 1, we bring it down to number 2. So, and we remove it from the objectives, but AIDS is not over. Fight inequalities, accelerate inclusive and innovative responses.
Okay, we hear you, Dr. Mgodi. But remember that a theme is supposed to be embracing. It's not necessarily specific. It's just an umbrella. And so that umbrella, I think, still needs to be punchy and short. Yes.
Your sister, Sophia.
Sophia Monico.
Mukasa, and I was going more or less where you are right now. For me, I would just leave it as AIDS is not over and not qualified. And then the objectives will go ahead and qualify. And it's not the objectives of our programs, it's the objectives of ICASA. What do we want to achieve in this ICASA in order to emphasize the fact that AIDS is not over? We are in danger, like it was in the IAS.
Well, I think we have got another suggestion here that just put AIDS is not over, leave everything else. Just AIDS is not over, and then go to the objectives. That's the suggestion from Miss Monico. Yeah, but we had almost voted, but yes, Jimmy.
Maybe just to find out from you, Honorable President, is it AIDS or HIV? AIDS, okay, it's fine. It's fine. Then I wanted to bring in the concept of co-creation, though it might not be captured there, but the concept of co-creation, like co-creating innovative and inclusive HIV responses in Africa beyond emergencies.
Yeah,
it's another dimension.
I thought you were talking of procreation, but co-creation is also good. So why don't we leave that as it is and perhaps expand on the objectives? I know that it will not, unless we really want to vote, nobody will absolutely agree here. Everybody will just say, we feel left out, we feel too much included, and so on and so forth. Okay, Frontline, identify yourself.
Yes, again, my name is Ora Dile from Frontline. I just want to reiterate that inequalities is, again, what has been said. We're also talking about things like the fact that we have new prevention technologies that are available in the global north and are slow to be coming to the global south. We are seeing a repetition of the same things that happened with COVID. So I think inequalities needs to be a lot more. The inclusiveness is great, but we need to put something about inequalities there. Yeah.
Okay, I will come to Dr. Kasolo before you come in, There is an online presentation. Are you ready? Online? Okay, make it ready, Dr. Kasolo.
The addition of the accelerate was more or less a call to action, something. And I speak for my two colleagues. I don't think there's any problem if the meeting thinks like if we put fight inequalities, it will not change anything. But we need to also bear in mind that then when it comes to defining inclusiveness, that we do not go back to including inequalities amongst that objective of inclusiveness, because they need to become a duplication in the way we do things.
Well, this is an online contribution. It says, this is from Barry Nibogola. AIDS is not over. Address inequalities, accelerate innovation and inclusion. Is that adjusted to compromise, especially when I see people shaking their heads positively? Yes. We want to cut it off now so that we can.
Thank you very much, Honorable President. I think for me, what you've just read out was somewhat similar to what I was going to say. Is the epidemic the same as it was prior to COVID? That's why we had spoken about refocusing. And I think what the sentiments that you just read out from the online participant, I think speaks to that. So I think we wanted to also just look at refocusing, accelerating, blah, 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 blah. Because the priorities are somewhat a little bit different because of the rollback of some of the gains that we had done or had achieved over the last 10 years or the last decade.
Good. I think that concludes it. We add the online contribution. Can you read it out again, please? Give me to read and then you can still put it up there so that we get on with it. Right. AIDS is not over. Then they put 2 full stops. Then address inequalities, accelerate innovation and inclusion. Is that it? Right. I think the silence means real consent. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Okay. AIDS is not over in red. Address inequalities, accelerate innovation and inclusion. And then that is it. That's our theme for ICASA 2023. Okay, accepted by acclamation. So shall we go to the next one, please? I want to thank you. We're really moving swiftly. The next item on page 3 of our agenda is a very clear, short one. We're now going to look at the presentation of the marketing plan and identification of the best strategy to resource mobilize. This ICASA demands quite hefty resources and a lot of support, both material and monetary and logistic, scientific. So I'm going to ask Luke Amand Bordia to give us that presentation.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Let me once again acknowledge all our people, our viewers, our member of the ISC committee meeting online. You know, as you know, ICASA 2023, we can say that we started very early, but for us, it's also a challenge because the energy and the financial commitment and the support that we need to run this conference for 6 months will not even be enough to run it for 1.5 years. Normally, we need 2 years to prepare for ICASA, frankly. And at this stage, people will be thinking that we are very early, but I can say that we are late. Just to point that one out. Saying that, please, the strategy of ICASA over the year has been strengthened based on the challenges that we are facing to organize ICASA. You know, ICASA basically is a minimum of $5 million. And the $5 million doesn't come from the host country because the host country provide the logistic already. Everything for the conference has been provided by the host country. Once again, let me call you to applaud the government of Zimbabwe, for hosting ICASA, because it's not easy, the government is providing the full conference center and assuring, also taking care of the facility, the logistic of the full conference center is so expensive. It's more than $5 million, to be frank with you. And we, as the organization, as we are here as ambassador of the ICASA, we need to mobilize resources up to 5 million also, so that we can bring people in, so that we can pay for other aspects of the conference. And how are we mobilizing the resources? This is what we come for the partnership, and the partnership generally for ICASA is based on these 6 points. We have what we call the packages of co-organizer. And to be co-organizer for this event, the minimum that we ask to resource to mobilize at least $5 million is $100,000 to be co-organizer. And when you are co-organizer for ICASA, it gives you an opportunity at least to be part of the open ceremony. Is key for ICASA. And the second point of the marketing document is also the senior partner. If you cannot be co-organizer, you can be senior partner. And to be senior partner, you have to at least contribute to $90,000. If you cannot be senior partner, you can be a partner with $45,000. It also goes with some point of incentive that I will come to that later. And you can also be co-partner if you cannot be partner. Then you can have it with $25,500. And if you cannot be part of the 4 other segmentation, then you can be a supporter by paying $12,000. If you cannot be supporter, then you can be co-organizer, co-supporters by paying $6,000. Next slide. And the partnership, I say that it goes with some type of incentive inside. You can see a senior partner. You see, if you are senior partner, if you are co-organizer. If you are co-organizer, you have everything here. You have a booth of 18 square meters. You have a possibility to have the first floor for the open ceremony, open speech at the open ceremony. And you have the possibility to have at a minimum of 6 complimentary delegations. It means that you can have 6 complimentary bag to assist the conference. And you also have free discount in terms of item if you want to have another item of the conference. For example, you want you want to have the bag of the conference. If you want to pay for the bag of the conference, you have a discount out to 20% to 10% if you are co-organizer. And you can see that the several segmentation of the marketing plan, goes with the incentive. You can see the logo, your logo will be used, and you have the right also to use our press conference to organize your press as a contributor. And you also have the right to push advertisement to our website and to our database. Don't forget that ICASA database is more than 25,000 participants. Next slide. This is the type of sponsorship that we have for promotional material for ICASA. You can see we have exclusive item like a delegate bag. If you want to be part of that or you want to sponsor the delegate bag, it's $5,000. And generally the delegate bag is something that is key because when your logo is in, imagine that you have more than 5,000, more than 8,000 participants, that are coming. And that bag will not only be used for ICASA, but it will use beyond ICASA because they are going back home with that. It's a good material for visibility. And we have also the layout. If you want to produce the layout for ICASA, it's 45,000, and you can put your logo in the layout with the ICASA logo and the thematic of the conference. The positive launch. The positive launch is one of the key aspect of the sponsorship material. You know, don't forget that this conference is about, first of all, HIV. And the positive launch is a launch where we really need to secure them so that we can rest there and we can take some of our drug. Or we can also have some B2B meeting at a positive launch, only for the positive. Next, the abstract book. If you remember, at ICASA 2021, we did not develop the abstract book. We developed it virtually. Because nowadays, you know, we are talking about they just finished COP22, where we are talking about the climate change, the environment, all these things. Then what we are doing now is that we are not printing again abstract book. You know, however, we have it virtually. You know, we have it virtually. We put it on a flash, and all the delegates can access it. Or we also have it on our app. You know, we can have with your laptop or your phone number. You can access easily. You know, the abstract book of ICASA, the conference book easily. The internet access. We also provide access for internet. Because the access that government provides is good, you know, but we need robust internet, especially when it comes to our sponsor and delegates. Internet cafe is also an item that we sell out for the conference. The directorial signal, if you want to have the directorial signal for the conference, this is very important. It means that every signal, for example, you have seen Zimbabwe ICASA 2023 there. If it's a signal for the conference, we have your logo attached to it. It also good visibility. The volunteer cap, you know, at ICASA, we use generally between 150 to 200 volunteers. And we have a cap. We develop a cap for them with the t-shirts, you know. You can sponsor it and it can bear your logo. Volunteer t-shirt, we have just by ICASA, the daily bulletin. A daily bulletin is something that is also very good in terms of visibility. Because on daily basis, the rapporteur and the journalists, they publish the key outline of the conference. And it's good that you should be associated with that. Then we have other promotional material, like flyers. If you want to put some flyer in the delegate bag, you know, the cost is there is 10,000. But generally, before we were asking for a A4 for flyers, but now we don't do A4 again. We do something like A4 divided by 2, you know, because the bag is no longer big like before, you know. And we have also gift. If you want to give a pad, a pen, all these things, you can put in delegate material. It's also good visibility. Then we have a flyer for plenary session. This one is key. Flyer for plenary session. You know, the plenary session is a session where we have the majority of delegates. And that one, you have it every single day of the conference. Don't forget that ICASA is 5 days. And you have the possibility to meet those delegates directly by discussing with them. When you send your flyer, you can send also invitation to them at the at the plenary session. Then the last one is shot on screen before parallel session. Yes, the shot on screen is what? Before every parallel session at ICASA, we can show your advert. For example, you have a satellite session. You know, you can inform everybody at the meeting. My satellite session is tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Attend it at home, so that people will be informed and will attend your satellite session or attend any other session that you are organizing during ICASA. Next slide. The sponsorship material, then this is the advertisement, you know. Sometimes we have pillar, we advertise on the pillar, we advertise on the pocket program. The pocket program is compulsory, you know, it's just one sheet where we put all the program of ICASA inside, and you can also use that sheet to advertise your product. The conference program online also. The conference program online is very key for us because the conference program online is what that covers all over the globe. Don't forget that our ICASA website has been visited a minimum of 7,000 people, unique visitor every single day. These are statistics that you need to take into consideration when you are coming. The major center also, you know, at the major center we need to provide laptop and logistic facility for the media so that they can communicate easily to the world about what is going on at ICASA. We developed ICASA media film also, and the community village. The community village is we put it here specifically because the community village, if you want to be part of the community village and you want to have a booth at the community village side, you know, the booth is not commercial at the community village. You know, we allow people to have the booth between $1,000 and $1,500. Here is the satellite station that we are proposing. Generally, satellites, you know, last ICASA 2021, we did not take into consideration the capacity of the rooms. No, because it was completely virtual. We take into consideration only the virtual aspect. But nowadays, we are planning to be both virtual and physical. You know, then we take only into consideration the timing, because now we change everything. ICASA now is no longer 7 to 9 o'clock evening PM. No, ICASA now is 9. Every ICASA program we start at 9 a.m. in the morning and close maximum at 4:30 p.m. in the afternoon. We can't talk about a marketing without talking about registration. It's true that the registration, the amount that we agree for the registration did not change. Since ICASA 2015, the registration fee for ICASA, we did not change it because we know our setting. We know the financial challenges that we are facing in Africa. We never changed that registration fee till now, and we are not ready to change it. Thank you.
Can we give him a round of applause? Is there any questions, clarifications? Yes, Frontline.
Thank you very much, Luke, for that. I was just thinking back to, for instance, AIDS 22, the way they divided up the registrations was interesting in that they had a different type of fee for people who are attending virtually and a different fee for those who are attending in person. And the in-person seems to me about comparable. And if you are doing in person and you can pay 700 or 450, it means you have the ability because you're coming in person. So you have budget. But I was wondering whether we might create another cadre that accommodates people who are only going to attend virtually. I'm not sure if I misread it, but I didn't see that there was a differentiation so that we could encourage more people to attend ICASA and maybe reduce that fee a little bit. So you might actually raise more money, but they are virtual.
Thank you so much. In fact, you know, ICASA is hybrid, but the model that we are choosing is that, you know, in our setting, people really hustle to get the registration fee. And we allow people to be physical, even at the last minute. This is why the fee did not change, both for virtual and in person, because you can go for virtual and at the last minute, you have funding and you want to come in person, you are free to come in person. It means that it doesn't affect anything. If you pay for in person and at the last minute, you can go virtual, it's flexible. Same thing apply. You pay to be virtual, but the last minute you get the sponsorship to come physically, you don't need to pay anything because you have paid one fee to cover the two. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And it looks like a good plan. So representing the communities, I believe we can also become a bit empathetic, particularly when you look at the key groups, women, young people, who might not necessarily be able to pay the $500. Students maybe can also lower the amount for students or even peg it at a local currency interbank rate. In terms of fundraising, I think we can also put a section where organizations that can also sponsor some of the community members to attend conferences. I think that will go a long way. Thank you.
Right. Any comments, questions, queries? Yes, Dr. Diem. Yeah, can we give a microphone? Yeah.
Congratulations to Luke and the Secretary of ICASA. I remain asking, why don't we start at 8:30? Because I see we have not enough time for the plenary session. We have 45 minutes for the plenary session. I think it's too short. And I always saw time like 1:31 or 1:23. I think it's difficult to deal with that. Also, I want to ask, what about roundtable in this program? Because I think in the leadership program, we also need roundtable.
Okay, the next question, are you noting that? Yes, so that you answer them all at the same time.
Thank you, Luke, for the great presentation and the clarifying the structure of the program. My question, well, I would like to just get a clarification. In the program, if you go to the previous, we specify parallel sessions, and then we say satellite session. So please correct me, satellite session, those are the ones which are paid session by externals, whether it is UN agency, and the parallel sessions, those are sessions by the organizers free of charge. Okay, now, and then you have referred to some other things, including non-abstract driven session, workshop, special session. Those are falling under the parallel sessions, or is it something else?
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, let me start by the second question. You know, the parallel session apart, go to the second slide. The parallel session are everything that you are seeing, the special session. Special session could be roundtable. Special session could be roundtable, right? Special session could be non-abstract driving session because it's not driven by the abstract, right? All these are part of parallel session. All these are part of parallel session, including workshop is parallel session, right? However, the satellite session is a paid session. And if you notice that we have some way to know the paid session and the non-paid session, because the non-paid session will give the opportunity for community. For community, especially community. When I say community, we have scientific community, we have the leadership community, and we have also the community part, you know, and we have a way to identify them to facilitate that. But all these sessions you are seeing is the people are part of this community here that we propose and we select between the various committees, and it will be plugged into the program. Now, as regard to what Dr. Cham said, yes, I just responded to the first question. And the second question is about the timing for the plenary session. We will take that one into consideration. Thank you.
Well, for me, increasingly, when you show these two slides, this one and that one, I'm getting a bit confused because the nomenclature that is being used on the two slides are different. Maybe it would help, for example, if we go to the second slide, we expanded the section type so that it's very clear. If we're going to have an abstract driven session, how many are they going to, I mean, in actual numbers, are they going to 3 under scientific and so on? But also when you add up these, my assumption is they are going to add up with the total time and sessions on the other slide, the first slide. Is that so? Or there's still some competition of who does that what?
No, there's no competition, sir. Let me explain to you very clearly. This slide is for you to know as a committee how many sessions you need to plan. This is what it means. You see scientific program, for example, you need to plan for 5 sessions in terms of plenary session. You need to plan for 6 special sessions. You need to plan for 5 non-abstract travel sessions. And you need to plan for 3 workshops.
Okay, let's go back to the other slide.
Now.
So if we add plenary session.
Yes.
Here we have 5 plenary sessions.
Exactly.
So you are saying that each thematic area, or rather each group, will have For example, leadership will fit into 5 of those.
Exactly, because you see, let
So-
me explain to you.
No,
We will have-
so let me finish, please, let me land. So I'm in the leadership group, okay? So I decide we're going to have our sessions on Wednesday, for example. I have five, for example, I don't know whether those were the numbers that we are supposed to develop. So the simple question is, can we really, for us who are probably in this for the first time after many years, can we have an alignment of what we are saying so that it's very clear as we go into the groups?
Yes, I think Mr. Kasolo, you're correct, because Luke is just explaining that if you're in the leadership, for an example, program, you are entitled to have 5 plenary speakers, so to speak, and sessions. Yeah, yes, those 5 sessions or speakers will be fitted into this program very, very nicely. When we divide ourselves into those 3, you will find how it flows. When we actually tackle this, because we've done this for a number of years, it just flows. It's something that you'll find easy to capture. The plenary sessions there will be sufficient to fit in the whole 3 committees in terms of plenaries, in terms of the actual sessions that will come. You'll find it will flow.
So the 45 minutes then becomes a problem.